We on a mission for today's video. Okay, if you guys are struggling like I am to get back on track with your weight loss journey after getting VSG, gastric sleeve, that's the same thing, getting gastric bypass or duodenal switch or any of the other varieties of weight loss surgery, I'm going to leave you guys some tips that I'm personally trying to implement, and I'm going to see how it works out. But I know from the first half of my weight loss journey when I started doing these tips, it definitely helped me, so I'm gonna just re-implement them with you guys. Hopefully y'all join in on it. But anyway, let's get straight to the point. So let me start by saying welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming. If you are new, welcome. I hope you stay for a while. I hope you become a subscriber and you follow the journey with me, and I hope maybe you're on your own journey and I can be a support to you. If you are a existing member and a subscriber, I love you. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. You help me a lot through this journey and give me a great advice, and I definitely value your company and appreciate you coming back. I am trying a new setup with how the camera looks right now. I don't know if you guys prefer this or the usual portraits setup that I have where it's like facing the other way, but I felt like I should make a full screen video for you guys, try to switch it up a little bit and see which one, you know, works better. So if you guys prefer this way versus the other way, let me know. I wanted to tell you guys that I have been having some trouble. I was supposed to be starting my journey back to eating better the day after Father's Day, but you know what happened was, cue the sad music. I was struggling because we had the Juneteenth thing come up, and we had a cookout, and we had all this leftover food, and I just couldn't help myself. And then over the weekend after that, I had my cycle come back, and I struggled with eating better, guys. I really did. I really did. I feel bad. And you know what? That's a part of being a food addict. You know, you convince yourself that, oh, tomorrow it'll be a better day, or tomorrow we'll try again. If you mess up a little bit on this day, then you'd be like, oh, I'll just start over tomorrow and, you know, we'll do it better then. When you know in reality, you gonna eat something tomorrow too and end up messing that day up, and then tomorrow's gonna turn into 2 days, and then 2 days gonna turn into 2 weeks, and then you're gonna be 20 pounds heavier and even sadder than you were when you started. But anyway, we ain't gonna go there. There was several comments that I saw that I have not replied to yet on a couple of videos that I did. So the one, first of all, let me back it up for a second. I need to let y'all know that y'all really came through on the 7-month post-op update video where I said that I felt like my sleeve was broken. Y'all went ham on that video. It's at almost 1.7 thousand views. Wow. I've never had a video that has been that high before, but you know what? That was my genuine feelings at that time. And there were some comments, like I said, I've been responding to pretty much all the comments, but the last couple that were on the video, I haven't gotten a chance to respond to, but I have read through them and I do intend to respond to them today, so don't worry about that, guys. There was a couple that stood out to me that I wanted to address in the video because I've seen it a couple of times pop up with some of the other comments that I saw, and also just some that really sparked my interest and just kind of promoted me to want to say some things on the topic. So let me get started with that. So the first comment that I saw that I felt like I needed to respond to, I'm not going to put the names of the people because I don't know if they're okay with that or not, but I will put the comment over here or over here, probably right here because there's more space here. But yeah, so this is the comment and I'm reading it off my paper because I wrote it down. Not broken pre and post-op. Already down 42, which I'm assuming they need 42 pounds because they didn't write that, but that's what they said. And a month old. So I guess they had surgery a month ago. You can't eat the same and what type of foods you are eating or are you eating. You need to be honest with yourself about what you're eating and what kind of workouts you're doing. Okay. So I've addressed this with a couple of other people that have said something similar to this. If you guys watched that whole video, I did mention that I take accountability for what I was not doing or what I was doing that was incorrect during this process or the last several months. I know I've been eating bad food. I know that I haven't been exercising enough. I know I've been missing my vitamins. I'm fully aware of that, okay? And I completely can admit that I'm a food addict and that I'm working toward eating better and doing better. And that's the whole point of this journey. The reason why I even mentioned it is really because I wanted to let you guys know where I stood in terms of my weight loss journey, because I kind of just fell off of the face of the earth after a few weeks, a month or whatever. And I'm sure some of you were wondering, like, okay, she was documenting like every week, and when did she disappear? What happened? So I just wanted to let you guys know that I had fallen off, and although I did kind of feel like I was at a disadvantage compared to some other people who had VSG surgery, because I felt like more of my stomach was left, or more of my hunger was left behind. That doesn't mean that I'm not taking responsibility for the part that I played in my weight loss journey. So just keep that in mind, guys, for future. If you guys are watching this later on after seeing that video, just know that I'm acknowledging my part in this, okay? Just know that. Next comment was, I am 10 weeks post gastric bypass. Food doesn't taste good or feel good. I'm down 50 pounds of the 100 goal. I know some people get bypass after VSG fails. Maybe talk to your surgeon. Okay, so I'm aware that you can get bypass done as a correction after VSG, but you know what? I'm not going there yet, okay? I think I'm almost 8 months post-op now, so I still have some time to see if I can make this work, but that's gonna be like the absolute last case scenario. Right now, I need to try eating better, doing my part to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to make sure I lose this weight. Now, and also to address the part where you said food doesn't feel or taste good, that is one of the deterrents that I was talking about in the video that you left a comment on. I don't feel like I have those deterrents from food anymore. The food tastes normal. The food doesn't hurt going down anymore. It used to hurt the first like month or two or whatever, or I would feel like this feeling where it feels almost like you're squeezing a tube of toothpaste, and the toothpaste is like right at the brim of the opening, and then it goes back down, and then it comes up. It's like it's coming up and down your esophagus and sitting like right here, almost like you're gonna throw it back up or come out of your mouth, but then it goes back down. And was what I was going through for a few months, and I think that was around the time frame that I was losing the most weight, because it made me not want to eat. But now that I'm not dealing with that anymore, I feel more like I'm normal again. My hunger is normal. My appetite is normal. I can eat a normal amount of food. Not a normal amount, but okay. So when I say normal, I mean like I can eat a whole sandwich at one time, and not a big sandwich. Like I could eat, I would say maybe about 4 to 6 ounces of food, depending on what the food is. So if it's like a bowl of chili or something, I can eat more toward the 6 ounces. If it's like meat, like ham or chicken or something like that, then I'm closer to like the 4 ounce mark, if that makes any sense. So certain foods sit better than others, but I definitely can eat a lot of food compared to like my mom, who has had surgery almost over a year ago, like a year and a month ago, and she's eating like 2 wings, and she's done a scoop of potato salad and like 1 rib, and she's done, if she could even eat all of that, you know. And I'm like, anyway, I ain't gonna go there. I already said my piece on that. Another comment that I saw was, have you done a pouch reset? And I have been doing some research on that since I saw that comment. So basically that is when you do everything that you did when you first got surgery, like the first, I think like 4 phases of after surgery care. So the liquid diet, the what, first you're doing the clear liquids, then you do the full liquids, then you're gonna do the, I guess, soft food stage, and then the solid food stage, you know, just gradually work your way up like you would have done when you first got surgery the first couple of weeks, except I think you do it within either 5 to 10 days. And I saw that, I thought about that, and I'm like, okay, that is an option, because I did consider doing like a fasting or something, because that's something that I used to do back before I had surgery. I used to do like water fast or juice fast for like 2 or 3 days at a time, not specifically for weight loss, more so for cleansing. But I don't know how that will work now. I don't know if that's going to be any different, but because I don't have any issue with getting protein or getting, you know, the amount of food that I need to get in, I'm not suffering with any deficiencies that I know of. So I don't know if I would be safe to do that or not. That's something I would have to ask my doctor. But in terms of the pouch reset, that is something that I considered. So I may try that after I see how my current plan goes. You know, if it doesn't go quite the way I planned for it to, that might be something that I incorporate into my lifestyle in the future. And now the last comment, which is one of the biggest ones that I felt necessary to respond to, and that gave me motivation, or gave me the motivation to make this video specifically. It was from a person, I think her name was him or her, I'm not sure. His name was Mercy, and I don't know if it has some numbers on the end. I'm just gonna call them Mercy. I hope you don't mind me mentioning your name, but your comment really made the biggest impact on me so far, and it was quite a long comment. There's actually a couple of comments that I saw from you, and I read the whole thing, and it really did hit home for me. It really made me feel a type of way. I mean, not in a bad way though, in a good way. Like, it really kind of almost like was epiphany for me. It was like confirmation, because it's like these are things that I had already been thinking in my head that I didn't really fully grasp until I read it from someone else saying it, if that makes sense. I don't even know if that makes sense. So I'm gonna show the comment here, and I scroll through it real quick, but I'm just gonna give a quick summary of it. So basically she was saying that once you have VSG surgery or any type of bariatric surgery, you have to look at it as a lifestyle change and not as a temporary, oh, well, if I do something today, I'll start again tomorrow. Like almost like a diet. Don't look at it like a diet. You have to look at it as a lifestyle. So when I had mentioned in the last video that I made that I was going to start eating better after Father's Day, that was bad. That was a bad mentality. Basically, is what she was saying. You should look at every day, including holidays, as a day that you should be eating the way that you're supposed to eat every day. Okay, so she was suggesting some things like eating more meats and vegetables, skipping the lighter foods altogether, and just keeping in mind that even though you can't do that right now, that you can eventually, once you get closer to your goal weight, incorporate those things into your diet again. And so you don't have to feel like bad. Like, it may be hard right now, but eventually you can get to the point where you can have some of those things that you enjoy and not really feel guilty about it, because right now you're in a weight loss phase. When you get to a maintenance phase, then you have more availability, or you have more freedom in terms of what you can eat, because you've already reached your goal. So it's just a different mindset, basically. You have to set your mind to a different setting for weight loss, I guess. And I guess you have to flip the switch. And basically, so I have a whole list of at least 10 tips that I plan to utilize while I'm trying to lose my weight or get back on track with my weight loss journey. And I'm going to mention them, and hopefully you guys will benefit from some of these tips. And if you do, please make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know which ones that you agree with, which ones you don't, and if you have anything to add. And also make sure you like this video, because you know it was hard for me to get up here and say what I'm saying right now, you know, because I don't like telling everybody my business all the time, but you know, y'all family, so I gotta tell y'all. Okay, so tip number 1 is going keto. So I mentioned that with the girl or the person that left me the message that I just told you guys about. She was saying go keto, but that's something that I already was kind of trying to do, but I had a hard time sticking to, because I had this mentality that, oh, I can just have a snack or whatever. And usually that snack ends up leading me down the rabbit hole of, oh, well, I could just eat bad today and then I'll start again tomorrow. Oops, I made a mistake. I ate one too many crackers. Let me start again tomorrow. Every day it's the same cycle. But yeah, so that's another tip. Anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all this tip first. Eat keto or try a keto style diet. Eat mostly protein and vegetables, and that way you're getting your protein amount that you require in daily, because you're primarily focusing on protein. And then you're getting the fiber that you need from vegetables, and you're able to keep yourself fuller. It keeps your insulin level regulated, so your blood sugar, your glucose is not all over the place, which causes you to be hungry. When your glucose level spikes, it can cause you to have cravings and hunger more often. And eating carbs is going to make your blood sugar go all over the place, which is why you crave sugar and why you crash and your body feels yucky if you don't eat those things. So if you get on a keto type of lifestyle, it will help cleanse your body of all the excess carbs. Your body will go into almost like a fat burning stage instead of relying on carbohydrates. And then you will lose weight I think you lose weight pretty quickly on keto. What I've personally experienced is you do, and your cravings will be lessened. You won't be as hungry. Second tip will be to work out at least 3 times a week. So that's a combination of weight training and also cardio. So from what I've been hearing, weight training may be slightly more important because it builds the muscle that you may need. I don't know if during keto you lose muscle mass. I have to Google that, but I think ketosis is primarily supposed to burn fat, but I think that you can get some muscle loss if you are too deep in ketosis or something. I have to do more research on that. I'll come back with an answer for that question. But building muscle is not only for that purpose, but also for the sake of it burns fat too. So workout that you do that's a weightlifting workout may not burn as many calories at one time, but it does burn fat longer than a cardio session will. So I plan to do a combination of the two throughout the week. I probably will work out more than 3 times, but I would say at a minimum 3 times a week. The third tip that I will give you is to use a food tracking app. Okay, that is a big one. Okay, and that keeps you accountable for what you're putting in your mouth. Trust me, it's very important that you do that part, because it's so easy to eat a bag of pork rinds or eat too many pieces of chicken. Like, just for example, I could be eating keto and I could avoid all my snacks, but if I'm eating, say I'm eating chicken breast or a chicken thigh or something, a chicken thigh may be 300 or 400 calories, but because I'm just eating chicken, I'm just like, oh, well, that's not that bad. I'll just eat 2 chicken thighs and I won't eat anything else because I'm just eating meat and I'm eating keto, right? You should be able to eat as much meat as you want because there's no carbs. Nope, that's not true. You have to look at your calorie intake as well. So it's important for you to track your food so you know what your calories are, what your protein is, because you also need to be looking at that, and how many carbs you're getting in with each meal. And that way you can kind of plan what you're going to eat throughout the day based on your numbers for that day. That's something that I plan to start doing again, because that was one of the things that I was doing before that helped me. So I'm going to start doing that again. Measure your food. That's number 4. Measure your food is going to make a huge impact as well. So my surgeon told me that at this point in your journey, my journey specifically, I'm about 7 months out. So I'm supposed to be eating about 4 to 5 ounces of food, I believe, if I remember correctly, because I can't really remember off the top of my head right now. But from what I read, I think it's about 5 to 6 ounces of food that you're supposed to be eating. So it's important for you to measure that food, because sometimes your stomach may allow you to eat more than that amount, and that means that you're getting more calories than what's necessary. And I think you're supposed to stay at least no more than 900 calories at this point. That's what I heard. That could be wrong, but 900 calories is supposed to be the cap at this point in the surgery. So, and I don't think, and even once you get past the 1 year mark, I think you're supposed to stay no higher than 1,200 calories. I don't know. I guess it's dependent on each person, but that's what I would do. I'm trying to stay as far below my calorie. I'm trying to keep my calorie deficit as low as I can, or as high as I can. I can't think of which one it is. I'm trying to keep my calorie deficit as high as I can. So I want to keep track of all of the food that I'm eating. I want to weigh it so I know exactly how many ounces of whatever I'm eating, how many ounces of meat I'm eating, how many ounces of vegetables I'm eating. And that way I can log it into my food app a little easier. Tip number 5 for you guys. I personally am utilizing intermittent fasting. So that might not be a favorite for everyone, but that works for me because my appetite activates after my first meal. I try to keep my meals closer to later in the day so that I have less time to eat in, and so that way I can eat more food at one time, if that makes sense. So I'll start my meal eating at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I will kind of eat different little snacks, not a whole lot, not snacks, that's just the word I'm using for it, but I may eat like some a meat roll up with some cheese, or I may eat a piece of a vegetable or something like that, like maybe a couple of hours later. And I try to eat between the hours of 12 and maybe 8, 9 o'clock. And I don't eat any more solid food after that time. And then if I get hungry again before I go to sleep, because a lot of times I don't go to bed until about 12 o'clock, I may drink a shake that I make with yogurt. So that will be what I do on a day-to-day. So I try to intermittent fast, and that kind of limits the time period that I have to eat so many carbs and calories. I can only eat with so much at one time. So me limiting that time period that I can eat to that 8 or 9 hour time frame, that allows me to regulate how many calories I'm getting in without having to be super strict about what I'm eating, if that makes sense, within the realms of keto. Number 6 is going to be, make sure that you drink at least 64 ounces of water a day. Now, I know that everybody says, make sure you get your water intake, make sure you count your protein and all of that every time you talk about VSG or some sort of weight loss surgery. And you know, you have to track your numbers and all that. Everybody says that, right? But I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying it, although that is part of it, you do need to track your numbers and make sure that you're getting the protein and stuff that you need. I'm saying get the 64 ounces of water, because water drinking helps your body release fat. For some reason, your body burns fat better when you drink enough water, especially cold water, because I read that when you drink cold water, your body has to heat the water up to body temperature, so it makes you burn more calories that way. And who wouldn't want free calories from drinking water? For real, for real. You know, that's how I feel. So keep your water cold and drink as much water as you can. And plus, it keeps you full, because if you're constantly drinking, you don't have enough time or space to put extra stuff in your stomach if you constantly are filling your body with water. So it's like, and it cleanses your body out and keeps your kidneys and everything clean and running, functioning good, and probably, I'm sure it helps with digestion as well, keeps you hydrated. So there's so many benefits to making sure you're drinking as much water as humanly possible, at least 64 ounces. That's what I'm going for. I stay with water next to me at all times, okay? That's number 6. Number 7 is drink decaf coffee. Okay, so that's another one of those things that is based on your personal preferences. I love coffee. That is something that helps my life. Okay, keep one of those here too. I drink this every day. I drink one of these every day. Okay, and it's only 1.5, I think, teaspoons of coffee, and mostly water and a little bit of creamer. I use heavy cream, and like real heavy cream, 0 carbs, and I use International Delight hazelnut mocha, and I think it's 15 calories, and it's 1 carb for 1 tablespoon. So I use about 3 or 4 tablespoons of that, and I use about 3 tablespoons of the heavy whipping cream in here, and it tastes really good. And the good thing about decaf coffee is it doesn't have the caffeine, so it's not going to dehydrate you like caffeine does. And also, coffee helps curb your appetite. So that is something that I try to drink to suppress my appetite when I don't need to eat. If I already ate lunch and I still feel that little twinge of hunger, or like I just need something else, I'll drink the coffee, and it kind of helps to kill that feeling for me and allows me to stretch the amount of time that I need to wait to eat. So like around the time when I'm intermittent fasting, before I start eating, I'll drink a little bit of coffee to get myself to that 12 o'clock mark. And then I may drink coffee in between meals to keep myself from snacking on stuff that I shouldn't. Okay, so yeah, that's a tip if you want to use that. Number 8. Then it's funny that I mentioned the snacking thing right before I tell you this next tip. So number 8 is going to be avoid snacking. Period. Okay, so that's, again, this is for individuals. You choose to do it how you want. But for me, I cannot do snacking at all. I don't want any kind of snacking, period, because it is a gateway for me to continue certain foods, unless it's a snack like meat, like a meat roll or cheese, something that's really dense and that will sit heavy in my stomach. I can't do like a pork rind or a beef jerky stick or stuff like that. Those things go down too easy for me, and then I will still want more. And then when you want more, you end up eating more than you should. So say for pork rinds, that was another slider food that I had to stay away from, even though it's keto and it's technically just fried pork skin. Okay, it's just meat. It's meat technically, but it never filled me up. And so I would see myself eating like almost a whole bag of this stuff, and it's like 80 calories for like I think a third of a bag, or like, I don't know, like 10 pieces of chips, and it adds up. Okay, it adds up very quickly. So you have to be very careful about the kind of snacks that you eat. But for my personal sake, I just avoid the snacks altogether if I can, unless it's meat. Unless it's a meat roll or a piece of cheese. Those are the only two types of snacks that I'm willing to eat. The next two tips that I give you guys are probably the most important tips that I can give you. And this is mostly mental. Take every day moment by moment. Okay? And that basically means that each day that comes, you have to be willing to pay hyper focus on yourself and the decisions that you're making. At least for me personally, that is a huge point that I sometimes overlook. I told you guys in the other video that sometimes I see myself or find myself snacking on something. I may think something in my head that I really want, and if it's in the house, I will grab it and start eating it before I even think about the ramifications of what I'm doing. I'll be halfway through the bag and I'll be like, oh snap, I was supposed to be dieting, or oh snap, I wasn't supposed to eat that today, or oh snap, blah blah, something like that. So it's just very important for you to be very vigilant of your decision making, at least until you get to a place where it's automatic for you. So the same way it's automatic for me to go grab a bag of chips and eat it, I want it to be automatic for me to not to deter myself from doing that. And until I get to that point, habits have to be made over time. So I'm trying to get myself into a habit of every time I think about a food or something that I shouldn't eat, I tell myself mentally no. And that has been my biggest challenge. That has been the self-control issue that I have been struggling with this entire time. And so that's going to be my biggest tip to you guys. If you have a struggle with eating addiction or with snacking, binge eating, things of that nature, you have to really focus on yourself and be mindful of everything that you eat, which is why it goes back to the tracking your food and making sure that you're weighing your food. And that way you're consistently accountable to yourself about what you're putting in your mouth. And that makes the mental aspect of telling yourself no and having self-restraint easier, which is extremely hard in this house because they got all kind of goodies and stuff. My family just went shopping yesterday and brought home little Debbies and Twinkies and Pop-Tarts, and I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? So I was struggling yesterday, but I am proud of myself because I was able to remove myself from that situation. I went as far as to going upstairs to remove myself from the food area and having easy access to the foods so that I don't eat them. And I was able to work myself through that process. That is literally my biggest struggle, is the eating without being not knowledgeable, or even worse, convincing myself, oh, you can just have one, and knowing that I can't stop at one, and then, oh, two's fine. And then the next thing I know, I'm telling myself, oh, well, you messed up today, so just don't worry about it. Just eat what you want and then start again tomorrow. That is a horrible cycle, and I'm working toward breaking that. So this is the step that I would tell you. Please be mindful of what you're putting in your mouth at all times, moment to moment. Be willing to tell yourself no. That is the biggest tip I can give you today. And last but not least, guys, my 10th and final tip for today is going to be, remember that this is a lifestyle change, okay? So you guys, we went and got our stomach cut out. We went and got our intestines rearranged and our pouch, our stomach bypassed, and which going straight to our intestines so that we can avoid eating certain foods or certain amounts of foods being absorbed into our body, because we're trying to make a lifestyle change. This is not a diet, okay? This is a long-term change that you chose to make with your body, okay? And it needs to be treated as such. And I'm guilty of this, just like some of you may be. So I'm not judging anybody. I'm just speaking facts right now. We need to take this more seriously. I need to stop thinking about this like this is just another Weight Watcher diet, or if this is a Jenny Craig, if anyone knows who that is. Yeah, I'm telling my age. This isn't Slim Fast. This isn't like do this for a little while and then go back to eating your normal habits. No, this is supposed to be a long-term lifestyle change. This is just supposed to be a boost to help you in that direction. This doesn't mean that, oh, well, I got my stomach cut out, I can eat what I want and it'll just do all the work for me. And I mentioned that in the last video I made. Nope, this is not the easy way out, guys. So sorry if that's what you expecting. Sorry if you haven't gotten the surgery yet. Don't get the surgery if that's what you think is going to happen, because that's not going to be the case. You still have to do your part. And although this is a lifestyle change, the goal is to get to your healthy weight, your healthy body weight. That is not saying that you can never incorporate these things into your life again in the future once you've gotten closer to your goal weight or once you've hit your goal weight. The point of this time frame right now, the first year, maybe year and a half, 2 years after surgery, is to get your life on track. Okay, you have the rest of your life ahead of you to eat the junk or snacks or whatever stuff that you want in moderation, so that you don't end up back where you started. Okay, so the biggest challenge right now is getting your head right. That grace period that your stomach receives, that VSG gives you, or that the bypass gives you, that grace period is to help you get your mind right without the stress of trying to figure out what's going on with your body, your stomach. So you're trying to get your mental state on track. That's the biggest part of that first couple of months. After that, then you start eating normal again, and you have to have already gotten your mind corrected before you get to that point, because now you're on your own, and it's like it would have been before you had surgery. You still have to regulate yourself. You still have to regulate the food that you put in your mouth. You still have to be mindful and monitor the things that you're eating. So it doesn't fix everything for you. You still have to do your part, okay? And life is going to be lifelong. It's going to be lifelong. So as long as you do what you're supposed to do, don't stretch your stomach out, keep drinking and eating the protein that you need, you can live a normal life. Your stomach will stay relatively small, and you can still eat those things in small portions. You just have to know when to stop. So you have to break the food addiction. That's the goal that we have with this particular point that we're in our journey right now. Specifically, if you're past that honeymoon period where you can eat what you want and your stomach will do all the restriction for you. Because after you get to a certain point, your stomach loosens and you have to start being more careful. Your hunger will return. Your stomach will not feel as much pain, or any pain for some people as myself, when you're eating. So it'll be so much easier to get those things in your body, and you won't even be aware of it. So that is the goal. Okay, so that is all of my tips for today. I appreciate you guys coming in, seeing this video. I would love for some of you to, or all of you, anyone who is on a weight loss journey, you don't just have to be in VSG or just bypass or anything like that, because I'm doing the same thing that a person who didn't have surgery is going to be doing. I still have to exercise. I still have to eat healthy, things like that. If you guys are interested in joining me or helping support me and I can support you back, I have a weight loss group on Facebook. The link will be down below in the description if you guys want to join, and we can keep up with each other there and talk about what we're struggling with and how things are going, because that's where I'm going to be at. I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to talk to you guys. So other than that, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video down below, and also make sure you turn that notification bell on so that you are here when I make my next video. I look forward to seeing you guys then, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.